friends. I hope that you are having a wonderful Friday. It's been a little while. I feel like since I've done a video, it's probably only been a few days, but it feels like longer. Anyway, I felt guided to want to say hello and share a few things here. And again, I hope you're doing great. I know that we're in these, again, I always say interesting times, right? I don't know what other word to use for it. Very transitional times, that's for sure. And if you're not understanding that or you haven't thought about that, that's what this year is all about. With all the way things are lining up planetary, and I mean just everything. It's leading us to a place that is literally shifting from the old world, the old way of doing things into something brand new. And that's what all this is about. Sometimes for that to happen, stuff has to come up to be cleared. And that's why everything that's showing up is showing up. And it doesn't matter why it's, if it's real, if it's instigated, none of that really matters, because if something is showing up, it's showing up for a reason. It's showing up because it's something that needs to be addressed. It's showing up because it's something that needs to be balanced, and something that really needs to be expressed, coming out of us. For so long, many of us, we were taught to kind of hold things in, like to play a part, but not play a part that was really true to who we were, but play a part that was accepted, in our society, in our families, in our, just that's the way they were taught. That's, and so in doing that, we were ignoring for the most extent, maybe there were some exceptions, of course, to the rule, but we were ignoring who we really are and what we're here to do and what our heart wants. And even just the whole way our whole systems were set up was basically set up to ignore all of that. It wasn't following our heart. It was to play these roles and do these things that keep us out of the moment, that keep us out of our joy, to create a future moment of joy, which we can't even do it. That doesn't work. What if you're working so hard for something in the future and then you never get there? It doesn't work that way, right? So the new foundation, this shift that we're making, is into this place of being real and in the moment and in the flow. And you can't control things anymore, because we were taught that you're supposed to control everything. Not that that was ever really possible, but it kept us in drama. It kept us out of the moment, because every time we try to control something, or we have expectations of people and we were disappointed and we were angry, all of those things kept us out of the moment. It kept us as disempowered individuals, and so now we're coming back. We're like, hey, what am I doing? Let's follow our heart. This is the time of following our heart. And I know I've been saying that for years, and I know sometimes people have different thoughts about that. They think that that's not real, or that's, naive or whatever, but it's not. That's our new foundation. It is being in alignment with what we're here for, and being conscious of that, being conscious of who we are, what we want, how we express what we're feeling when we're feeling it, so it doesn't have to become a scary monster, that it can, we're walking through, we're being honest with ourselves, we're being honest with the people that we're working with. And it takes practice, because we're not used to it. And it's a bit uncomfortable at first, because we're not used to it. We're being raw and real with people, but we were taught that that was scary, to be real and to be vulnerable. And yet, honestly, that holds the key to us creating a magical life, is being in the moment, not trying to control anything, being real with our feelings, being real, embracing our feelings, for one, which is really hard for some people. Again, because we were taught all these different thoughts about it, being sensitive is bad, it's weak, it's, whatever you want to look at, or being emotional. And really, it's just being real with ourselves. It's letting a part of who we are, what we're feeling, come out. And then as we do that, we can keep going and learning and growing and develop way better relationships with people when we're real with all of that. And so this is the beautiful time that we're in. And I know it can seem scary out there. And I know it seems, maybe violent in some moments, but think about all these things that are coming up, regardless, again, of how or why they're being instigated. It doesn't matter. It's what needs to come up. And they're coming up so it can be cleared. And some of the stuff has been buried for a very long time and very deep. And so it can feel painful as it's coming up for many people. And it can look maybe sometimes even ugly as it's coming up, because, again, stuff that's been shoved and down, it might not look so pretty. We're afraid of it. And so we made it into a bigger, scary monster than it needed to be. But the great news is right now, whether we like it or not, we're having to clear this, to let it come up and out and see it. So the easiest thing you can do, or the thing that you can do, let's say, to make it easier for yourself, is to embrace it all. The more right now that you try to resist or judge or control the different thoughts and the different experiences that are showing up, the harder you're going to make it for yourself. You're going to create more obstacles for yourself, and it's not going to be fun, you know? And so the more we can just keep doing our best to stay in the moment, cut cords, ground our energy, breathe, deep breaths is going to help you so much right now. And then stay with what our heart is telling us in each moment, and then embrace what shows up. Embrace some of the things that seem ugly, embrace some of the things that seem painful, and do your best to let go of any judgment, any comparison. That's the old way. We don't need to do that. We don't need to judge what has happened or whatever, but we can embrace the pain and the different feelings that came up with it, and then we can create something new. But it's important for all of us to look at that as it's coming up in our lives. It's going to come up, it's coming up in our world, but it's also coming up in it. That's because it's still inside of ourselves. And then you bring your focus back to yourself. That's the most powerful thing we can do right now, is to come back in ourselves, cut our cords, ground our energy, breathe, activate your Merkaba, if you know how, and be like, okay, now what? What do I need to do for this, for my highest good, that's in alignment with my purpose and role here? It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like anything like I did yesterday or last month or last year. What do I need to do now? And then you come back to that moment and you breathe and you listen with all of your senses. Listen to what you're being nudged to do or not do. Again, it might be something as simple as resting. It might be going out to the store. Maybe, you know, you're going to start talking to somebody. You don't even know why, or, you know, follow it. You know, whatever it is, each thing is going to lead to the next. And then you just keep doing it. Every time you find yourself getting caught and pulled out of that moment with the dramas that are going on, or some ugliness that you see, or fear that shows up, do your best to bring yourself back, because that's just distracting. That's just keeping you away from the healing and the growth. When we come back to this moment, we can handle things in a whole different way, especially if we're embracing what we're feeling. If you're feeling sad, embrace it. If you're feeling mad, embrace it. Doesn't mean you have to act on it, but you can embrace it. Feel it. Look at it. Look at your body. If you're feeling pain in your body, look at it. Embrace it. Okay, I'm feeling this, body. Thank you. What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to tell me? You know, you can use Louise Hay book. That's something that changed my life. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Just her teachings changed my entire life, my entire perspective. I started to understand at that time I had gone through cancer and lupus, and I was told I was going to be sick for the rest of my life. And I started to shift my perspective and understand that my body was just giving me messages. It was out of balance because I was out of balance in myself. And I needed to make changes. And so since then, I've been working on making those changes. Some have taken longer than I would like to admit, but that's okay. That's been part of my process. And, you know, but it's helped me. It's made a difference in my life and how I feel. I have 4 children because of all of this. I was told I wasn't going to have children, you know? And all of it, understanding that this stuff is messages, and embrace it. And I know it's painful. Trust me. Those of you who know me, I tend to manifest a lot of my stuff physically. I have to really address my stuff very quickly, or I feel it physically and pretty intensely. And so I've learned to do that. I learned to just embrace right away. I'm feeling pain. Okay, discomfort. Where am I out of balance? And they start looking at it. Louise Hay book. There's other things online you can look up to see what that message is trying to tell you. And then if you embrace that without judgment, now you can work on something. Now you can shift, like, oh, maybe I just need to shift my perspective. I was looking at this in a way that's not helpful. You know, maybe I was judging something. Maybe I was criticizing something. Whatever it is, you look at that, you can work on shifting it. And the easiest way to shift any of it is to come back to the moment. Detach from the past and the future. So that's the great part about now. So much of our old ways are dissolving away. You know, our systems are dissolving away. So we can be new now. So it doesn't matter how you looked at something 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago. How do you feel about it right now without anybody else's influence, without any comparing to anybody else, without any judgment from anybody else? How do you feel about it right now? And guess what? You find that out by embracing in the moment, embracing yourself, embracing your thoughts, embracing your emotions, embracing your pain or discomfort. It's all going to teach you something if you're willing to look at it, and then be open with all of your senses, because it comes in different ways for all of us, and the great thing though, again, this is the most powerful thing we can do right now, because also if you understand the way energy works and the way the universe works, whatever frequency we are holding in ourselves, that's what the universe matches. It doesn't judge, it just matches our frequency. So if we are holding a higher frequency because we are making peace with ourselves and we are staying in the moment, and we are learning how to do our whatever boundaries, set whatever boundaries we need to, we are loving ourselves, we are listening to ourselves, we're vibrating at a higher frequency. Guess what comes back to us? What that matches that. We're not going to notice some of the lower frequencies. It's not going to affect us the way it used to affect us. The more we do this, the more it happens, the more we spread that ripple out. The more of us that do this, the larger the ripple goes. Now we start to see the changes in our world. And it's happening regardless, because the frequency of the planet has changed. And it is continually changing. So the frequencies that we used to hone into, they don't work anymore, because it doesn't match the planet. So that's again why all this seeming turmoil is coming up, because it has to shift. And that's what's we could see it as a terrible thing, or for me, I see it as a very exciting thing. I'm so excited to have these new times and opportunities to come closer and more real and being myself than ever before. And that each one of us has this opportunity. How incredible is that? And so again, I just want to put out these reminders that, it's all in how we look at it. It's all in how we want to perceive it, and what vibration we each choose to hold. That's what you're going to see in your life. And I really encourage you to look at that and embrace it, and do what you can. If you need help, even on my website, I've got lots of videos. I've got lots of videos on YouTube. On my website, it's thelabyrinthoflife.com. I've got meditation videos that help with healing. I've got, I've talked before and after each of my circles of compassions that are on the website. And I've given different pieces of guidance, different tools that help to bring ourselves to that place and keep ourselves to that place. On YouTube, under my name, Carolyn Kaufman, Carolyn with a C, Kaufman with a K. I have lots of little videos of just different pieces of guidance that have come through here and there. And they're different tools. And then there's lots of people out right now that are just sharing from their heart all kinds of things that they're learning, and the ways that they're learning, and what we could do to help ourselves feel better about whatever situation is happening in our lives that we're struggling with. Many of us, like myself, I do private sessions. If you're looking for a life coach, an intuitive life coach to help you through these transitions, you can check out that information on my website. And many other people are doing the same thing. Those of us that have, we've been training in these areas for some of us decades. And we've been going through our own stuff so we can learn firsthand how to walk through this stuff, and being open to the insight and the guidance that comes in that is aligned with the new foundation. And so anyway, I just wanted to share these things with you today. I felt so excited, and just this guidance and nudge in my moment to bring this out into the universe. And anyway, for now, remember your tools: breathe, ground, cut your cords, be in the moment as much as you possibly can. That's where you're going to find the magic and the relief and the beauty. And regardless of what's happening out there, what do you want to vibrate at? What frequency are you holding? And you can shift that any moment that you want, and as often as you want. So remember, you are a powerful being. You are an amazing, incredible being. We are so powerful. We have so much potential that is untapped. Let's start playing with that. Let's start allowing that to unfold. Wouldn't that be amazing? So anyway, my excitement I wanted to share today, and just love you all so much, and I'm just excited for what unfolds, and I send lots of love and healing to all of you. And if you're hurting and struggling, my heart goes out to you. I know how that feels, and in my own way, and I just love you, and I know that we're going to get through this, and I know it's leading us to an amazing place, because it's leading us to a place where we each can be free to be who we are. And how can it get any better than that? You know, and it'll lead to live a life from our heart. And that to me is just amazing. And it's creating heaven on earth. And so we are in that process. So please hang in there. Know that you are loved. Again, sending you lots of waves of love and healing and big hugs until we talk again.